Welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 185. I'm here with Steve D'Amico from smdcomputer.net. Hello, Steve.
Hello. Hi. How you doing, Steve?
Pretty good. How about you?
Great.
What's going on?
Well, I've been pretty busy. I've been doing all sorts of different stuff. Last time me and you talked in private, we were talking about my shop that I was supposed to be getting, and it was right around the time when you were leaving your shop. I was looking for my own. It's too bad we don't live in the same city.
I know. It's a shame all the Podnutz listeners don't live around here. We're gonna start some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's get into that. We'll start off with what happened with your shop and what your next step is. So what happened with your shop? You were going to get a computer repair shop, like rent a shop, because right now you just do on-site work.
Yes.
And yeah. So what happened?
The guy that I was negotiating with was a subcontract deal where it was a sublease where he had a lease for the entire area, and then he was partitioning off like a 20% of his area, which had my own front door, window, sign, everything was cool.
Right.
And then he's like, "Oh, let's do it." And then about 5 days later, he's moving all the stuff out in big boxes.
And he didn't even call you, right? He didn't call you?
Nah. Why call? It's not that important. Nothing's really going on. I mean, no big deal. So.
That's a shame. I was going to get into a similar situation with a guy when I first was looking for a shop. He had a great location. He had an empty space in the shop. And he was selling DVDs and games out of the shop. And he's like, "You want to rent rent this out for computer repair?" I'm like, "Yeah, great." And I waited for a month, and then I called him, and he decided he didn't want to do it. But then I found my shop. So don't give up, all right? Don't give up.
Yeah. I'm not going to give up. I found this out today, so I'm still a little sore.
Oh, man. Yeah, I was excited for you.
Yeah, I was excited for me.
You will find one. You'll find a better one. Trust me. You'll find a better one.
Yeah, I hope so. Jeez. But you know what? The lesson, the moral of the story is, kiddies, don't ever rely on anybody else.
It's true, especially in business, man. People could be nice guys, but flake out on business things. That's
why the lease that I was considering signing, the sublease I was considering signing was month to month, and if I wasn't going to get a month-to-month lease, then I was literally just going to – I mean, and this is no joke. Like, people say this all the time. That was my walking away, like, sticking point. But, I mean, literally, there's nothing on this short – nothing other than maybe him saying, "Oh, well, then it's $1 a month." You know,
right.
I mean, nothing short of that would have gotten me to sign a lease longer than maybe 4 months, you know.
Yeah, it's a good idea. When I first signed my shop, it was a 3-month lease just to test it out. And,
nice.
And when you work, and and then after the 3 months, I'm go, okay, and then we signed a year. But
that's not too bad. I mean,
no. That's
definitely not too bad. I didn't want to do a year just because I'm not in any really wonderful financial shape. So so I don't know. I don't know if and my wife would have probably just executed me on the spot for even considering such a thing.
No, I'm telling you, there's places out there. Just keep looking.
Yeah. It's tough being in Long Island, I mean, I was looking at this place. It was pretty big, but it was the second floor of this building, and I couldn't even figure out how to even get up there. So I'm wondering what my buyers are going to think.
Right.
So I'm like, "Oh, so how much for the top, floor? I see you having that for sale." And he goes, "Oh, about $1,800 a month." And I was just like, "Oh, well, have a nice day."
I know you're going to get them. You know what? You're going to get them because I did too. And you get discouraged. And you're like, "Wow, I'll never be able to afford it." And then you get to a guy, right? Like my landlord, he's like almost retired. He's got a ton of money. He almost doesn't care that much if he rents them or not. You know what I mean? He gives you a good price. There's people out there like that. Trust me.
Yeah.
All right, let's get over to your because you're doing on-site work still.
Yes.
What kind of stuff are you encountering out there in the field? For
me, it's been kind of boring, but it's been typical spyware, viruses type of stuff. But some of the more interesting jobs I had was I was doing a spyware removal on a system, and it was, of course, completely out of everything was Windows was out of date, spyware forever, and an endless stream of ridiculousness, like they're like the people, they're just like, oh, well, I don't update Windows because it makes my computer break, and I'm just like, no, it doesn't. And what service pack? What is that? They don't know anything, of course. Like typical.
An endless stream of ridiculousness. I love that line. That's classic. Okay, go ahead.
So I'm like, oh, of course the stream doesn't end there. I mean, and then I'm looking at, I have 256 megs of memory, and we're in 2009, and so I'm just like, oh, geez. So and I'm like, wow, you have an XP system with 256 megs of memory. That's what it came with. I'm like, unless somebody stole memory out of your computer, you've been running this slow since day one. And then so what I did was I upgraded the memory, and I had my own. I bring my own chips with me, but I kind of get them from all different places, all sorts of different sources.
Right.
And I didn't realize that the memory was not working. I never really tested it. I figured I'll just test it when I throw it into the system.
Right.
And so that's what I did. So I popped the memory in, and in my tired kind of slight days, Windows boots, but now it has an error message, and it was. I forget what the error message was, but it was something so bizarre. And I Googled it, and it took me on this endless loop of, oh, you just have to do this, and oh, you just have to do that, and it's leading to this. And I forget what it was, and I just like a dope. I didn't associate it to the memory, even though I just put it in there. And it spent like a half an hour trying to figure it out. And then I popped the memory out and went, oh.
That's funny. I get on that too. I get on that kind of thing too, where you're like, you realize after about half an hour, you're like, what? Oh, that's what it was the whole time. I cannot believe I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
All right. So moral of the story is test your RAM before you put it in a system.
Yeah, especially in these days when you have DDR, DDR2, and then DDR3, and that's pretty much all you have out there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if a lot of newer technicians know this, that the DDR will fit in all DDR. So a 512 chip, well, as long as it'll fit, like the memory size and everything else.
No, you're talking about DDR will work. You mean if you have like 2700, 3200, or 2100, you can mix and match, is what you're saying? Yes. Right.
You can mix and match speeds, but sometimes with some motherboards they don't. They have to be paired up, or I've had one motherboard I was dealing with. It was actually my own system where it had I forget what it was called, but it's the memory where it has two sides of the chip, and it didn't only accepted like if you had three sides and that's it. So I had a 4-sided memory.
Three sides? What do you mean 3 sides?
Some memory modules, they have all the little chips all fitted on one side of the memory module.
Right.
And then other chips will have the little memory chips fitted on both sides of the memory module.
Right. Well, how do you get 3?
Well, it'll accept 2 sticks of memory or 3 sticks, but each stick has to only have one side.
Oh, I see.
So if you have one stick with 2 sides, that's considered 2 sides. And then you know what I mean? And
I get what you're saying.
And I read it and I looked at it and I went, oh, I think I understand that. And then I just put it in and I went, oh, and now I really understand it. And yeah.